Okay, so everyone is here. We are still waiting for Dr. Rami. 1 minute, let me check where he is. Okay, so I will start, okay? Let's go. Welcome.
Wait, Valerie.
Wait,
Do we have everyone already in the chat room? Is everyone admitted already?
Let's just give it 2-3
Yeah,
minutes
let's
and
give it a
then
few minutes.
you can kick off, Valerie, just admitting all attendees.
Yeah.
yes. Patricia, we have so many friends joining. Okay, so I think we can start. Yes. So welcome everyone to the Creative Financing Solutions webinar. I am Valerie Zakka, your MC for this evening, and I am very excited to present to you this program and the goals of this event. This webinar is organized by the Agrifood Innovation Community as part of the Lebanon Innovate program, funded by the European Union and implemented in partnership with Berytech, Anima, Leitat, IRI, and IRALEB. Lebanon Innovate aims to revitalize Lebanon's entrepreneurial ecosystem and productive sectors. It focuses on promoting innovation, intellectual property, and knowledge transfer, with the broader ambition of positioning Lebanon as a leading digital and knowledge-driven nation in the region. Within this framework, the Agri-Food Innovation Community was established 2 years ago, and it is a dynamic platform bringing together universities, research centers, industry actors, business support organizations, and public institutions to bridge research, innovation, and industry, fostering knowledge and technology transfer. Through these collaborations, the community enables knowledge exchange, accelerates technology transfer, and supports the development of practical and impactful solutions. In doing so, it plays a key role in strengthening Lebanon's innovation ecosystem and driving forward a more resilient, competitive, and forward-looking agri-food sector, our focus for tonight. This interactive webinar brings together funding organizations, industry experts, and agri-food stakeholders to explore practical financing pathways for SMEs in Lebanon specifically. Joining us tonight as featured speakers we are so excited to announce Mrs. Marlene Daher. Welcome, Marlene.
Hi.
President and co-founder of Michel Daher Social Foundation. Mrs. Natasha Marashlian Saade. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you.
Chief of Party at René Mawad Foundation. Mr. Jad Zghib. Welcome, Jad. National Program Manager at the EBRD. Mr. Qasim Jouni, Regional Emergency Preparedness and Response Officer, and Advisor for Anticipatory Action at the World Food Programme. Welcome, Qasim. And last but not least, Dr. Rami Laiz. Welcome, Dr. Rami, founder and director of LOS, the Lebanese Organization of Studies and Trainings. This wonderful program was co-organized and managed by the Agrifood capacity building team here with you tonight. Dr. Pauline Aad. Hi, Pauline. Pauline is a professor,
Hello, everyone.
FNAS, and Director of Technology Transfer Office at Notre Dame University, NDU. Pauline is presenting tonight a really important part of this webinar. Her presentation is titled Funding Made Smart and Easy. So make sure to be here for this essential section at 7:30, like maybe right before 7:30. Also, Ms. Marilyn Abdessater, our panel moderator for this evening. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, hello everyone.
Marilyn is a business development manager at Rentokil Boyker, and she is a certified food safety researcher and management specialist, helping organizations bridge the gap between commercial growth and global sustainability. And myself, Valerie Zakka, I am your MC for this webinar. I am an industry expert and founder of Zakka Technologies and the Industrial Kingdom, offering consulting services, technology, and automation solutions to the agri-food and manufacturing sectors around the MENAT region. Of course, we did this with the invaluable support of the Berytech and Lebanon Innovate team. Here with us, Ms. Nadine Slim. Hi, Nadine. And Ms. Noor Rizallah. Hi, Noor. So, just a quick reminder that we will have a Q&A session with the panelists after the panel starting around 7:15, and a very informative session that I introduced with the Dr. Pauline, Funding Made Smart and Easy, which will also be followed by a Q&A. Please type your questions in the chat box. There will be no voice interventions, okay, for the questions, and we will get to them when it's time to start the Q&A. And with all that being said, I am sure we are all ready to start. I will hand over the controls to Marilyn and to our amazing panel.
Thank you, Valerie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. As Valerie already mentioned, everyone that's going to be part of this panel, I'm going to introduce them further so you would know more about our prominent and really amazing panelists joining us today. So I'm going to start off with Mrs. Marlene Daher. As Valerie stated, Mrs. Marlene is the president and co-founder of the Michel Daher Social Foundation. Under her leadership, the foundation has built a strong track record in economic development and livelihoods, supporting MSMEs and youth with active engagement across the agri-food sector. She's a firm believer that every challenge is also an opportunity to build something strong. She works to address the real needs of Lebanese communities and enterprises. So we welcome you again, Mrs. Marlene.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have with us as well Mrs. Natasha Marshalian Saadeh, the Chief of Party of René Maouad Foundation. She is a development executive with over 22 years of experience leading donor-funded programs in economic development, local governance, agriculture, environmental management, and humanitarian assistance. As Chief of Party and Program Director at the René Maouad Foundation, she has managed multi-million-dollar programs funded by USAID and other international donors. Currently, she is leading a livelihood program funded by the Islamic Relief USA. She has successfully overseen more than $60 million in development investments across Lebanon, working with municipalities, civil society organizations, MSMEs, and private sector partners. She also holds an MSc in Environmental Technology from the American University of Beirut and is fluent in Arabic, English, and French. So welcome, Mrs. Natasha. And
Thank you.
And it's good to note that during this panel, please feel free to have this conversation in English or Arabic, whatever is comfortable for us and for the attendees as well. Also welcome with us Mr. Jad Zghaib, the National Program Manager at the EBRD, which is the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. He is managing the EBRD's Advice for Small Businesses program in Lebanon. He has joined the EBRD in 2021 to launch the Star Venture program that supports Lebanese startups. He then moved to a regional role in the bank's London headquarters before coming back to Lebanon to lead the ASB team and manage the SME support activities. Jad started his career in investment banking with Barclays Capital in London. After 5 years on trading floors, he then moved to work with Doctors Without Borders in a number of conflict-prone countries before eventually returning to Lebanon in late 2019. Jad holds a BA in economics and management and a master's in finance from Paris Dauphine University in France. Welcome, Jad. And as we continue with Mr. Qasim Jouni, Mr. Qasim Jouni is the Regional Emergency Preparedness and Response Officer and Advisor for Anticipatory Action at the World Food Programme in the regional office in Egypt, Cairo. He is also a regenerative agriculture expert. Mr. Qasim Jouni is a Lebanese agricultural engineer with over 20 years of experience in agricultural development, resilience, and climate management across Africa and the Arab region. He holds a bachelor's degree in agricultural engineering and a master's degree in irrigation and water resources management from the American University of Beirut. He currently serves at the World Food Programme as a Regional Emergency Preparedness and Response Officer, as we have mentioned, and advisor for anticipatory action. His work spans policy and operational support to governments, international development agencies, and the UN, with a focus on climate-smart and shock-responsive agriculture, irrigation systems, and sustainable food systems. His technical expertise includes sustainable agriculture, large-scale farming, climate and disaster risk education reduction, early warning, early action linkages, water resources management, and the design, implementation, and evaluation of large-scale agricultural and resilience program. Welcome, Mr. Qasim.
Thank you, Marilyn. Looking forward.
Great. So imagine these are only the bios of our prominent panelists today. We really wanted to read each and every detail because it's very important for you to know who are the people behind the funding programs and to know more about them and how to connect with them. So last but not least, please welcome with me Dr. Rami Lais, the founder and director of the Lebanese Organization for Studies and Training, also known as LOST. Dr. Rami coordinates and leads one of the largest non-governmental organizations in Lebanon with focuses on over 12 sectors, including women empowerment, youth empowerment, governance, peace building, humanitarian work, livelihood, food security, protection, environment, water, education, democracy, and others, as overseen the execution of over successful 300 projects. Dr. Rami, a Chevening scholar, carries a PhD from Durham University and is an academic lecturer and researcher in international business and peace building and former director of International Affairs Department at AUST University, in addition to being a consultant with the World Bank and co-editor of Global Trends International Academic Series. Dr. Rami is also a published author on 8 separate occasions on development, peace building, economic mobilization, and social justice, bringing to any work setup priceless experience and knowledge of the ground that will be crucial in achieving goals and creating a sizable impact. Welcome, Dr. Rami. Yes, Valerie.
بدي أقول يعني مش معقول هالبانل فينا نعمل UN بس بهالجلسة. إذا wow, really. Thank you for joining, everyone.
It's super exciting. So I'm going to start off with no further ado. Round 1. You're ready with the questions. I'm going to ask you the questions for round 1, and I will hand over the mic to everyone in the order of introduction. So first off, for panelists, participants, for everyone, the questions are: what are the main value chains your organization is currently focusing on? What are the major upcoming and recurring funding opportunities? I will also add these questions to the chat. And if we can please start with you, Mrs. Marlene.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to join this enriched panel and looking forward to learn from each and every one of the panelists. For us as Daher Foundation, we distinguish between the agriculture and the agri-food sectors. In agriculture, you can focus on a specific value chain or a crop like potatoes, apples, grapes, or any other value chain. But in agri-food is different. In a market that is small like Lebanon, you can't build a strategy around one agri-food chain. The scope becomes too narrow to matter. Maybe the one exception is wine, which is mature enough to stand on its own. For MDSF, since we are settled in Bekaa, we are based in Bekaa, and we focus on Bekaa area, which is the heartland of agriculture of Lebanon. Strengthening this sector is very important for us. And it is the main pillar of because if it is the main pillar of the Bekaa economy from one side, and because it retains many skills, opens the opportunities for youth and for retaining them and keeping them in the land, not migrating to the cities or abroad. For that, our focus is not on a single value chain, but it's in capacitating the agri-food sector as a whole. We help the businesses already there become more competitive across their whole operation, building the capacity of their employees so they can drive the growth of their respective companies, and preparing the technical talents these companies they really struggle to find. And recently we started training on how to integrate digital and AI tools across their operations. And another part of our role is transferring the knowledge and the kind of successful model like Daher Foods has built into the agri-food sector, mainly here in the Bekaa. We help producers become ready to connect them to opportunities, programs, and partners they sometimes struggle to find.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marlene. So before I move on to Mrs. Natasha, we have some Q&As regarding the contact information of our panelists. So if you would like, dear panelists, if you would like to share your emails in the chat, if that's okay, please
Sure.
go ahead. And moving over to Mrs. Natasha.
Yes, thank you. And I'm really happy to be on the panel with you and my peer panelists. So basically, I'm representing today the René Mawad Foundation. For those who don't know the René Mawad Foundation, we are a non-governmental organization that has been operating in Lebanon since more than 35 years now in humanitarian and development field. So our mission is to promote social, economic, and rural development in Lebanon and the MENA region, and contribute to building a responsible civil society that promotes democratic values, justice, and moderation. So we are working currently in 10 sectors, and 10, it's a big portfolio across all sectors: agriculture, livelihood, food security, education, shelter, health, social stability. So we have a lot of portfolios. And just in terms of number, we have provided more than, I'm sorry, I'm reading this because I cannot memorize it all. So we provided more than 250,000 services in terms of sector related to more than 90,000 beneficiaries in only 2025 with a budget of $22.7 million. Agriculture is a main component of RMF's work, and we started with agriculture initiatives in North Lebanon, and we expanded all over Lebanon. What we usually do is we worked with several donors prior
but now we have also current agriculture projects, which I talk about. So usually our approach is market-led. So we see what the market needs, and then we go back in the value chain from the production till the products. And we see what are in the analysis of the assessment of the value chain, we see what are the weak points in every value chain, and we work to address these needs, whether, the varieties that farmers are cultivating, whether they need certification for export, GAP, GAP. It's a very big scope. MSMEs actually fall under this, under these weak points, or, not the weak points, but the points of the value chain. So usually we don't address MSMEs as standalone target people, but it's within the value chain. We've worked on apple, avocados, cherries, table grapes, potatoes, vegetables, cereals, palm fruits, stone fruits, wheat, barley, carob recently. And we cater these to both local and export market. Currently, we don't have too much funds as this sector overall, unfortunately, but we have, I think, 4 main projects that we work under agriculture sector and MSME support, with funding from the Spanish Agency for International Development, the Norwegian Church Aid, and the Kingdom of Netherlands. And the most recent is the project that I'm working on is Islamic Relief, USAID. Sorry, USA. We are used to USAID, so it's USA. And so I think there are current upcoming opportunities about the donors. You never know. They will issue a call for applications and appeals every now and then. But we are expecting to have from the German KfW and the GIZ. We have the GATE project, the big GATE project in agriculture, because they are one of the components is to support MSME through kafalat. It's a big project by the World Bank implemented by CDR. It's a $200 million initiative. It just started. They started with the dairy sector. I think they issued something. And of course, we are waiting for the State Department to, replace USAID and issue other calls in agriculture. So this
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we started with the ladies. Now it's time for the men. Can we continue, please, with Mr. Jad from EBRD?
Sure. Thank you, Maylene, and thank you for having me on the panel. If you allow me, I'll just take a step back to introduce briefly the EBRD for those of you who don't know it. So EBRD stands for European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Very briefly, what we do, we're a private sector development bank. We started in the early 90s with the objective of supporting Eastern European economies transition towards open market economies after the end of the Soviet Union. And we expanded geographically over time. We've been in the region, what would be called Middle East and North Africa, since 2012, roughly, and in Lebanon since late 2017. If I want to summarize what we do 3 main things. So we're a bank, as the name says. We do financing. Most of the financing is done through commercial banks, intermediated financing. Obviously, in Lebanon, this is quite challenging today because we desperately need banking sector restructuring and reform. We also do direct financing. We haven't done a lot of it over the past few years because of the difficult situation in Lebanon. But a couple of weeks ago, we announced a large financing deal with Spinis. So as you can tell from Spinis, this usually targets larger companies because we don't have the manpower nor the ability to do a large number of deals, which commercial banks could do. So we can do direct financing, but usually with large corporates rather than SMEs. So that's on the financing side. We also do what we call policy dialogue. We try to work with relevant partners, governmental agencies, ecosystem partners to improve the business and investment climate. And we also do SME support. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. We look at SMEs in the broad definition. We look at the EU definition. So that's any company with less than 50 million in annual turnover, to give you the easiest figure. That really involves most of the companies. That's probably 98% of companies, 99% of companies. So the definition is quite broad. And on that specific aspect, because of the challenges in Lebanon, we scaled significantly our SME support. So now going into the question, we run two main SME support programs in Lebanon. The first one is the EU-funded innovation program. It's actually a sister program to Lebanon Innovate. Here we work directly with SMEs. The idea is to promote industry-academia collaboration, and we work with through a funnel. So we start, the program has three components. The first component is a small grant of up to 5,000 euros to help companies work with academia and researchers. Second component is to go towards the market, so commercialization, additional research, etc. That's up to 30,000 in grants. And component three is for scaling. It's up to 50,000 in grants. Now, on the specific point you asked, we are sector agnostic. We work in a demand-driven manner, but we do have priority sectors that we work with. And obviously, under this program, the priority sectors intersect very well with the conversation today. Our priority sectors include the agri-food sector, healthcare, including pharma and cosmetics, ICT, and the creative sectors. And here we're looking really at the value chain. So when we talk agri-food, we're looking at agriculture, but also at food processing and logistics and all the companies that could serve that sector. That's one program. The second program is the Resource Efficiency and Circularity Program. Here, the focus is specifically on the agri-food value chain, but for industrial SMEs. And here, what we do is provide technical assistance to companies to identify measures to become more competitive while improving their carbon footprint, in simple terms. And to the point of the conversation today, we also provide reimbursable grants for companies not only to identify measures, but also to be able to invest in those measures. So we provide up to 80% of funding of these investments, and the companies then would pay back over 2 years a portion of that. So they have access to finance today, but they also have a residual grant over time. And now, and I'll conclude with just the dates of what's coming for companies who are on the call. We have regular call for applications. We do very regularly, depending on the programs. For the innovation program, we have an ongoing call now for the R&D vouchers, so the up to 5,000 euro grants. It's ongoing until 15th of June. For component two, so additional research for those who have already done some R&D and have already considered collaboration with academia, we have a call that's going to open in July. And for component three on the scaling side, it's going to be in Q4, so September and October for SMEs and startups. On the access to finance part, we have the Resource Efficiency and Circularity grants. We're launching call for application number 4. This will open on the 15th of June. As I said, it's for investing in greener technologies for industrial SMEs in the agri-food value chain. It will run from the 15th of June till the end of the summer, and we will be looking to recruit around 10 to 12 companies to help them access the finance that they need and invest in greener technology.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I hope everyone that's joining us took some notes on the topics and the dates. والحلو إنه everyone is sharing شو topics mainly للfunding options. So كمان غير إنه نشوف أي متى عم يفتحوا هول الcalls كمان فيهم يتنبشوا يعرفوا which foundation is the best for each type of fund that they want, which is great. Thank you. And now we continue with Mr. Qasim Jouni. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Marilyn. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I'm here representing World Food Program as I work currently for the regional office in Cairo, covering 15 countries, including Lebanon and the region, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, and Egypt, in addition to the Eastern Europe country, including Turkey, Armenia, Ukraine, and the region. So for that, our focus is mainly on general food systems rather than value chains by themselves, which includes value chain, plus the enabling environment, which includes water resources, natural resources, water, soil, and others. And answering your question on priorities for WFP is because, World Food Program focuses mainly on food and delivering food for the people in need. So mainly we prioritize climate resilience and nutrition sensitive value chains that directly contribute to the food security and the livelihoods of the community. So in Lebanon and the region, we focus on mainly supporting and usually work not only WFP by themselves, but with the government, and mainly Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Resources, and others, and assisted agencies like FAO, IFAD, and the other food-related agencies, or we call them sister agencies. The focus mainly is on cereals and strategic crops, mainly supporting local wheat production and aggregation, which we supported Lebanon previously after the Ukraine crisis. storage systems, reducing reliance on import, and linking farmers to processing and mills and other value chains. Mainly other value chain that we could focus on is mainly supporting the local production, mainly fruits and vegetables, where SMEs could be investing in greenhouse production, local production of fruits and vegetables, enhancing climate smart agriculture like climate smart water use, drip irrigation, and reducing the dependence on other natural resources or water. In addition to dairy and small livestock, where we support the processing, improving the value addition. For example, the processing of Lebanese cheese, Lebanon yogurt, and others, with enhancing the hygiene and cold chain upgrades. Because we focus on not only the production by itself, but the processing and the distribution. And most importantly, what we focus on is short value chains and local procurement systems, where we link farmers, cooperatives, and producers to directly our school feeding programs that we support children in schools with the feeding programs with the schools, and the humanitarian food baskets, where WFP also distributes the food baskets, which includes the main food components like العلب أو المونة الغذائية أو السلة الغذائية. So for that, we make sure that what we procure or what we distribute is mainly produced in the country in Lebanon and distributed among these networks. So also what we focus on is producing dried fruit, which we aggregate or go process these locally produced food, but increase the shelf life into a longer shelf life with an added value like the tomato paste, the dried tomato, the dried fruits, the pickled material, the jams, the others, which empowers women and youth in this production. So it goes on with the solar-powered production, solar-powered irrigation, and water-saving techniques. As for the major funding opportunities, usually we work in grant-based and co-financing models, where we coordinate and collaborate with our donors, partners. Usually we have our main donors, which might be governments, other UN agencies, World Bank, as you mentioned, also the GATE project. And we implement through our partners like Alost, where our friend and our dear friend and partner, Dr. Ramila is here. Over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Dr. Ramila, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this networking event. Hello, Qasim. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I didn't expect it as to be that important and useful for all of us. I represent the Lebanese Organization of Studies and Training, LOST, and LOST has managed more than 100 million budget projects all over the 27 years of its implementation and programming. The value chain that we are focusing on are cereals, vegetables, support more than 4,000 farmers, and we supported 1,800 small businesses. But we shifted the modality of support since last year into two important concepts that we have created, two important institutions or businesses that are going to support farmers and SMEs. And this shift was because we studied the gaps of funding and the gaps of production of these farmers and SMEs. So we created two modalities, a modality called the incubation modality, which is a kind of productive and industrial incubation. So we realize when we give fund to small farmers or we give fund to small businesses, we put them at risk sometimes because they cannot face the entry to market alone. So we try to protect them by taking the risk on their behalf and give them the benefits which is needed. So the incubation model is based on creating big food processing factory. So we have created Al-Qarya milk factory, and we have worked with 75 milk producers. And in this Al-Qarya, the productive incubation is given opportunity for producers to produce in this factory. So this is not a normal factory. This is a platform for production. And we have a company from Juni, a very small business that has started 3 months ago, and they are producing a protein product, and which is very important, which is called the Easy Way. And they
Nice.
produce 1 day per week in our incubation, and they sell all over Lebanon, and they are making very good profit. So they don't have the burden of production. We benefit from their sales because we take percentage of the sales, and at the same time they benefit from our construction and production platform. The second modality is based on aggregation, and this work for small farmers, and also it work for SMEs. We have created the community farm, which has an open shop for agro products, and we have opened the market. So now we distribute to hospitals, we distribute to point of sale, we distribute to restaurants, fresh fruit, vegetable, and cereals. And we have a brand which is called Al Qaria. And in this branding, we buy products and we sell them. And at the same time, we can link producer to point of sales. The third approach that is in progress now, is called on regional complementarity. Although Lebanon is a small sized country in terms of market and production, but it has a regional complementarity because not all regions have the capacity to produce all products. So now we are starting to complement the area depending on the productivity, like the coast, the south, the north, and the Bekaa in terms of exchanging product. And at the same time, we start something new, which is called Al Qaria National Exhibition Model, that is going to start in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture on the 25th of October. So we are going to have 500 SMEs that are going to exhibit their product, starting from Rashaya, going to Zgharta, going to Batroun, to Zahli, to Baalbek for the first year. And we hope that we can receive from support, funding, coordination between the partners that are on this platform, because I believe that this is an opportunity for the small producer to recap, and most of them have been affected by the war in terms of market or even in terms of production. So this will be a very good platform for exchanging Lebanese with Lebanese products.
Of course. Thank you, Dr. Rami. Thank you so much. So we have concluded the first round of questions, and now we're moving over to round 2. Back to you, ladies. I'm going to ask the questions first and then share them in the chat. So our first question for our second round, Valerie, you have something to say. Go ahead.
I want to make sure that all this information is can be transmitted to the participants later. So this is really valuable. And sometimes you guys are speaking too fast. حتى أنا who is a nerd at school taking notes all the time, I'm not able to take the good notes. So I think we can speak a bit slower if you don't mind, because what you're sharing is so important.
I think it's our fault because we were strict on time just for the sake of
مظبوط.
time.
لا, we have the time is right.
Yeah.
Let's not rush. Okay.
We have the remaining second half before we move over to Dr. Pauline's presentation. So at round 2, I would start with the first and second question. Over to you, Mrs. Marlan. What would qualify or disqualify SMEs applying? What should applying SMEs focus on while applying as well? Thank you.
For the first question, now the main criteria for SMEs are to be registered, which is a very good thing because it's pushing and motivating businesses to become formal and to get their papers in order, and it's so they can fit the calls. And then the 3 things are very important. First, the impact. We look for businesses that change the life of people around them, women-led businesses, and the one that hire from their local community or could hire young people and persons, of course, with special needs. Second, can the business last after the project ends? Because we believe the business can take the support and keep going after the project ends. And last, but the most important thing is that are they ready for the whole journey of the project? Because usually we incorporate capacity building and technical assistance within the support that we give to SMEs. And this is very important for them to walk this journey and get them ready for any kind of grants, of in-kind grants, or any kind of loans or whatever, because if their businesses isn't ready, they can't make successful stories from the support they are getting. And for the second question, the first one was about the businesses. The second one is about the skills the owners or the ones who are applying have, because sometimes people get two things wrong. The first is something I say all the time: don't tell us your dream, tell us your numbers. Almost everyone starts with passion. I want to grow, I want to expand, this is my vision. But a funder doesn't fund a dream. They fund something they can see and measure. How many people you can hire? Are you employing? How much do you make, sell, spend? What is your competitive advantage? How you can reduce your cost? What's your impact on your community? And some businesses don't even have numbers. We encourage them before applying to anything to start tracking the numbers of their businesses so they can get ready before any call is posted. And we want them to be ready before any opportunity knocks their door, so they can benefit from it. This is it for me.
Thank you so much for highlighting this very important point. Like, exactly, this is what everyone usually shares about actually applying. If you plan to apply for all attendees, this is what you should prepare ahead of time. Thank you so much, really, for highlighting this. Start rounding up your numbers, start writing everything. You need to have the reports ready to be able to properly apply. Thank you so much. Mrs. Natasha.
هلا ما بعرف إذا خلت لنا شيء مارلين، بس I second actually her input، لأنه usually the strongest application are not necessarily from big businesses. Usually they need to demonstrate when you apply to a grant or a fund, you need to demonstrate first your need, the challenges that you are facing, whether the support you are requesting is really how it will manage or how it will address your need, and how we suppose the support would actually be implicated into impacts. So yes, you need to see, you need to have a clear vision on how it is growth, a clear and realistic, let's say, vision over the business. And you need to know what are the exact items or materials you need. Just if you have, and it would help a lot if you have, the specifications and everything that you need to be on record, and how they will contribute to the growth of your business. Usually donors request how this will contribute to the expansion of their businesses, how the jobs, additional jobs will be applied if you get this assistance, and how the overall business sustainability will be sustained. It is good to have a small business plan, a credible business plan, a viable business model. And of course, the people who are applying should be ready for capacity building sessions, coaching sessions, and listen to the, to the coaches, to the trainer, because it's very important for their businesses. I will tell you how maybe it's if we do it the other way around, how the application will be disqualified, because we had a recent call for proposal and we received more than 3,000 applicants for MSME,
Wow.
North Lebanon and Akkar, under the Prosper, the IRUZA, the Islamic Relief Program. And we had several, cases that were disqualified because, for example, they didn't. They had an incomplete application. They missed documents. Sometimes eligibility criteria for donors, sometimes they are outside the target area, so they have to read really well the call for application. Sometimes they don't know their operational capacity. Sometimes, for example, some donors or some, calls ask for cost sharing. So they don't have this cost sharing in terms of in kind or in cash. Maybe the business rationale is very weak, and we have lots of issues in terms of compliance related to legal, financial, environmental, and ethical considerations. So we need to make sure that we comply with the requirements of the specific donor that we are applying to. For the legal registration, it's also better to have a legal registration. Sometimes, the donor would accept, referral from the, بيجيبوا ورقة من البلدية أو من المختار, and they are operational for 2-3 years, and it has, sometimes, because for micro, let's say MSMEs, it's difficult to register. Sometimes some donors are accepting this, some donors are not. But of course, the right way to do it is to have the legal status taken care of. So this is it for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you for sharing these common mishaps that always happen. If I can, I'm going to have to move to Dr. Rami because he will have to leave us soon. So if you can go ahead, Dr. Rami, to answer the round 2 questions about what would qualify or disqualify SMEs applying and what would applying SMEs focus on while applying. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marlene. I think, to be honest with you, I don't like the judgment of many donors on how SMEs should perform or should be funded. Because in my opinion, SMEs is an idea first. So if people believe in what they are going to do, this is the most important part of it. Then we start working to the applicability of this idea, which is a chance. So the fund that we are giving to SMEs is giving them the chance, but not giving them only the judgment if they can do it or not. 4 years ago, LOST invited 22 donors to talk about the incubators and to talk about the business that we are doing. And out of 22, only one donor accepted the idea, and they said, this business can grow, the incubator. The incubator is a 22 dönum of land where we have a processor for cereals, which is a multi-million business that we have started, and a milk factory. Later on, they did not give us a chance in that meeting that we can survive, and some of them judged it as a business that cannot sustain itself. In fact, when we started, we proved that there is sustainability, and some of the donors who were attending the meeting, they are not even sustainable. Some of them have closed their offices in Lebanon. We should give chance for people who have ideas and who have dreams. This is the most important part. In terms of registration, I think it's a step which is important, but we moved, because we work in rural area, we moved into the home-based SMEs. The SME that can start at home, produce at home, reach the market slowly, and then we develop. Because if you put lots of judgment, lots of requirement on an SME, we are selective, and we are going to select only educated people who can have good writing, who can present very good documents. But in fact, maybe we will miss some of the good producers which cannot do this. Because I know many SMEs that are even exporting outside Lebanon. And some of them were not even educated to a level to understand what is sustainability. And they are doing very well in their business. So we should be a bit flexible with the first donation, the first support that we are going to do. And then when the business will start and start to roll, we can go into rigidity. So the small business, when it needs to start, we have to be very flexible. We have to incubate it, we have to support them, and we don't only have to judge it. I agree with all the panelists, what they said, which is something very important, but this comes in a later stage with SMEs. We should separate between SMEs that is based on an idea and SMEs that is based on business for the future, and we should give chance for people who have good ideas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rami, for this interesting take on applications and qualifications. But what's also interesting is that the presentation that's going to be given by Dr. Pauline is to actually address what you're talking about. So sometimes, as you said, some people would qualify, but they don't have the necessary maybe capabilities or skills to properly formulate what they're doing to apply to such funds. So in that session as well, if anyone could identify what Dr. Lais has mentioned from the attendees, pay close attention to what's going to be shared in the presentation, because we are in days where we can leverage AI tools, we can leverage any tool or anything that can help us on how to present our business and how to talk more about it. And of course, we understand that believing in a dream is very important. It's what gives you the passion and it gives you the drive and the motivation to move forward. However, the best thing would be on how to translate this dream into reality through the application, through the numbers. And this is why we have supporting agencies that would aid such types of businesses in actually applying to grants and funding. And of course, everyone here attending from our panelists, I'm sure they have faced this struggle, and sometimes maybe during the selection criteria and during these phases, I'm sure it's never an easy decision. And this is why we have to eliminate the subjectivity, and we have these rigorous criteria to have an objective selection as to who would qualify for the grant or not. So thank you, Dr. Rami, for giving us this different perspective. It was really enriching to keep this conversation going. So again, thank you for joining us, Dr. Lais. I know that you would have to leave at 7. So thank you again for your intervention. It was really special. Now we move over to Mr. Jad from EBRD.
Yes, thank you. To answer the question, I have to say, from our perspective, there is a spectrum of different interventions. From our side, as I described earlier, we are a private sector development bank, so we come in with a banking mentality, in a sense. So when we look at eligibility criteria, we're trying to look at, first of all, the formal sector. And as I said, our SME definition is quite large, and we're actually trying to go towards the larger end of that spectrum. So this is not to say, of course, as Dr. Rami said, there's an importance of focusing on idea stage and of focusing on incubators, etc. From our perspective, this we do indirectly. So we work with incubators themselves, we work with accelerators themselves. When we work with companies or SMEs directly, we're looking at slightly larger and more capable SMEs post ideation, because this is our mandate, basically. And this is where we think our offering makes most sense. So just to give you a sense of the eligibility criteria, we work only with the formal sector when we're talking direct interventions. So we're talking about registered businesses. They need to have at least 2 years of existence, to be owned by Lebanese individuals ultimately, and to have proper bookkeeping. So they need to have financial records to track what exactly is happening, etc., and to have at least a pathway towards financial sustainability. Of course, we're flexible in that sense, especially in Lebanon, because the challenges are very tough on businesses. But we need to see that these businesses, with our help, as my colleague said before, they are on a pathway towards sustainability. It's not just that they want to do this today because this is seems like a good idea or a passion project, but they have a way to becoming sustainable and basically making the best out of the support that they can receive. So we're not working with idea stage, and we're not working with the informal sector. A question was asked to me about startups, because here we're talking really about SMEs. We do have a dedicated program for startups. It's called Star Venture. It's a scaling program, but it does also focus on post-acceleration startups. So here we're not supporting startups that are at the idea stage. We're supporting startups that have the capacity to grow, that have already generated some market traction and that have gone through some incubation and acceleration. Again, we work with accelerators and incubators to help them support their beneficiaries. But when we work with companies directly providing grants and technical assistance, this is what we know how to do. And these are the kind of companies we think we can generate impact with. So to summarize, our target and our mandate is to identify champions. So be it local, regional, or ideally, ultimately, global champions. We can walk with them from a small grant to larger grants, and then potentially to financing, either direct or indirect. That's our mandate, and this is what we're trying to target. Now, in terms of what we look for and or what doesn't work, a colleague just mentioned this approach. I think it makes sense. The ones we see, the applications we see that don't work for us, usually it's either idea stage business. Somebody's coming with an idea. The idea makes a lot of sense, but the kind of support we can offer comes really later than the idea stage, so it doesn't work for us. There is also the capacity to absorb the grant. When we look at these grants, we're trying to connect companies to work with consultants, experts, local, international. We're not doing only capacity building activities that work for everybody. It's not like classes where you would benefit from what we're offering. We're trying basically to help you access very specific technical assistance. You need also to contribute with a portion of the cost. So you need to have the capacity to cover a portion of the cost, absorb the grant, and help yourself on your way to growth. Just a couple of things. I don't want to speak for too long, but we also look, as I said earlier, we're sector agnostic, but we do have priorities. There are sectors that we prioritize, but there are also themes that we prioritize. So any company and or project that's contributing to the green transition, that's contributing to improved inclusion, be it for rural enterprises, youth-led businesses, gender, so women-led businesses, people with disabilities, all of these obviously align very well with our mandate. So we would like to support these. All other things being equal, we would prioritize a project that supports or contributes to these objectives. Now, to conclude, when we talk about what works and what doesn't work, each project, as you said, I think, Marilyn, has its own set of criteria and its own selection process. If we're looking at the innovation project, we're trying to connect SMEs with academia. What we're looking at is the quality and the viability and sustainability of the research itself. So we anonymize the applications. Part of the assessment is done by experts. We have an innovation partner in Brussels. These are doctors, PhD holders. They look only at the validity of the science because we don't have the capacity to do it. Our team would look at how this sits within the offering of the company, etc. So it's a combination of both and depends on the program. When we look at resource efficiency and circularity grants, we're looking at the ability of the company to pay back, because these are reimbursable grants that are meant to be then redeployed with somebody else. So we try to remain within the sound banking principles. We also look at whether this is a technically sound project, whether if somebody is installing, I don't know, for example, heat recovery equipment or upgrading equipment, whether this makes sense in terms of competitiveness, in terms of cost recovery, and in terms of carbon footprint. So it's per program. But if I want to summarize, I think what we would look at in an application, and I'll finish with this, is the potential of a company to grow and to grow sustainably. How can the support we offer help this company become more competitive, grow its market share, move from one stage of development to the other? How do we, with our support, help this journey? So we are demand-driven. We're not going to tell companies this is what you need. We want companies to tell us what it is that they need. But because we have limited resources, we also want that story to be convincing. We want to understand that the company is here today. They have a plan to get to the next stage, and our support can help. So really the storytelling and the support to be taken not just because it's an available grant, but because this is something that helps the entrepreneurs go somewhere that they already have in mind. This is the sweet spot we're looking for. Sorry if this was a bit long.
Thank you so much. No, it was great. Thank you. So basically, their success is your success and the program's success. This is why we have to be really rigorous in the selection criteria and how to actually match the right funds with the right projects and the right people. Thank you. Mr. Qasim Jouni, we're going to be concluding our panel with you. I'm just going to repeat the question in case anyone has joined our session now. So I would ask you, what would qualify or disqualify SMEs applying, and what should applying SMEs focus on while applying? Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. So basically, most of our panelists answered this question in a very good, coherent way. But what I would like to focus on while WFE focuses their partnership with SMEs, on delivering or innovating in the investments in the agri-food sector. So we look at SMEs as partners, especially sometimes when empowering these SMEs, we make sure that we're empowering beneficiaries, farmers, and our load will be less because the SME will be holding a lot as a partner. So what we want to make sure is that the SMEs are legal, registered, with a strong business case and with a good market viability. With this, we make sure that they would like to contribute, or their mission is to contribute to the food security and the job creation, and empowering women and youth as a basic requirement. For example, a dairy cooperative or a dairy company that would support rural women and increasing the local dairy sector or dairy production and supply. This is our favorite conditions. SMEs with the basic accountability or structure or operation, also this is favored. And what we would like them also to have as an added value is the environmental and sustainability and climate alignment. For example, they focus on reusing renewable energy, solar irrigation system, water efficient product. So this is all favorable. And with food safety and quality standards, especially the HACCP or ISO, then they're all welcome. What makes the SME unfortunately disqualified is definitely not registered or not legal, or there's no bookkeeping or any unclear cost structures. This is unfortunately disqualified. And especially SMEs that don't look into scalability. So sustainability and scalability is very important for WFE and our partners to make sure that they are not only looking for the grant, but beyond the grant. Finally, my recommendations is always move beyond the grant, just become an investment ready. So not only the grant itself, but what makes sure that this grant is used to scale up, enhance local production. For example, in, producing burghul in Lebanon from locally produced wheat. This is very favorable for WFE. And these are good examples from the partnership we did with Berytech and supporting the Food Systems Challenge in Lebanon, where we supported more than 30 businesses along the country, especially after the Ukraine wheat crisis in Lebanon. So these are great examples of what we need to make sure. And what we also like to connect with our Innovation Accelerator in Munich, WFE Innovation Accelerator, where they look into adopting digital tools, data systems, using mobile tools to track production, pricing, logistics, and support the local production by itself, and integrating climate risk management, where we adjust crop cycles based on seasonal forecast, investing in water efficiency, as I mentioned earlier. So I would like to end here that with WFE, we see SMEs not just as beneficiaries, but as a critical partner in building resilient, inclusive, and responsive food systems in Lebanon and the region. I'll put some examples from our Innovation Accelerator programs and the Berytech food systems in the chat for everyone to look at the examples that we support. Over.
Thank you so much. That would be very helpful. So basically, it's creating an impact that lasts beyond the grant. Thank you for sharing. So I would like to thank all the panelists that have joined us today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your input. Thank you for everything that you have shared. I will leave the floor to you, Valerie, before to introduce Dr. Puri. I'm sorry, Dr. Lais, you have an intervention. Go ahead.
Just want to show something which is, I don't know if it's clear for you. It's wheat, which is processed by a private company, which is called Mawasim.
We can't see it.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, we saw it briefly.
Dr. Latif, if you can remove the background, it will show.
Okay, do you see it? So this is a company which is called Mawasim. Mawasim is working with our farmers. So we introduce our farmer to Mawasim, and we give Mawasim the facility to process cereals. So they buy wheat, lentils, chickpeas from farmers directly. They process in our processor, and they sell it. And sometimes we help Mawasim to sell the product inside our aggregator. So they use the incubator to process and to work with farmers, and they use our aggregator to distribute and to sell to clients. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is more on wheat and the local production of it. Thank you so much. Valerie, over to you. With our Q&A, I think everyone has already answered most of the questions, and we have panelists that have shared the specific contact information in the chat where attendees could actually directly contact them. So I hope this was helpful. And now over to you, Valerie.
So basically, most the questions are about, which is what we want. The main purpose of this webinar is for people to connect with you. This was so the questions we are seeing are exactly the purpose. So we have achieved our goal. Is that how can people contact you? What are the eligibility criteria? And we have here one question. Is this only for Beka? I don't know who this was for. So basically, have we covered the areas? Did we discuss this point? Are we covering
everything,
specific areas?
Yes, was discussed, and every panelist shared the specific areas and sectors they operate in. So I think we're good on that.
Yes. Anyway, we will share the recording with everyone who attended, and you can listen to all the details. If you are also interested in a specific panelist or organization, you will have the recording and their contact number. Yes. Okay, so we are perfectly on time. If any one of our panelists would like to add something now, before we move over to our next session, our next part of the webinar with Dr. Pauline. Please go ahead. Any closing remarks or recommendations for people who want to reach you. Okay. So let me start with introducing Pauline.
Thank you.
Dr. Pauline Aad is a professor at the Department of Sciences at NDU, Notre Dame University, Louaizé in Lebanon. She holds a PhD in animal breeding and reproduction from Oklahoma State University, an MS in reproductive biology, and a degree in agricultural engineering from the Lebanese University. Pauline's research focuses on the molecular reproductive physiology of local sheep and goat breeds, investigating the effects of environmental contaminants and variable factors on their production and reproduction. She works with multiple producers to optimize their production system. She has received multiple awards, including the 2019 AOAD First Prize for Outstanding Publication in Animal Improvement and the Fulbright Student Scholarship Award in 2002. Dr. Aad has authored 28 peer-reviewed publications and is the recipient of a USAID peer grant to study parasite prevalence in Lebanese goats and the resilience of the Baladi goat in a changing climate. Wow. Okay. Pauline,
Thank you, Valerie.
the floor is yours. We are excited to hear what you have to teach us.
So what I tried to do, and thank you very much for hosting me. I hope that I can address and make funding easy. This is why I tried to integrate a lot of the resources that you can use to make a grant, or at least address some of the issues that our panelists have talked about. So what I am going to get started with is maybe talk a little bit about the pyramid, the financing pyramids for SME, that we can have grants, cost sharing, soft loans, equity, commercial finance. And this is just for us to know sort of where do we fall and which should we address when it comes to funding. So yes, some people could address grants, but some others could need financing. Now in Lebanon, and I should say this, that this dynamics has changed quite a lot before 2019 and after 2019 is because I know a lot of companies used to mainly focus or actually count on bank loans or subsidized lending programs. But unfortunately, these are, and Jad has addressed this a little bit, these are no longer, sort of accessible, especially with the banking crisis. So there's a lot of commercial lending that is limited. Grants are now the most important, sort of source for many companies, especially as SMEs. So what we need to do is we need to understand what donors want from the grants so that we can actually have access to these donor programs because the investment today is actually being driven by some of these donors as well. For example, there's a lot donor programs for agri-food, so this is why agri-food is a bit thriving. Now, different donors will address different needs and different goals, as we saw with our panel, but again, it depends. So what we need to do is we need to understand what the donors need in order to be able to match what those donors want, and so we can get access to these grants. Now, a lot of the current grants also come with the potential for technical assistance, for support for the companies and for the growing companies. So this actually has added a lot of benefits to a lot of SMEs accessing some of these funding. So before I actually go ahead and get started, what I want from all our attendees is to maybe access this barcode, and I will go ahead and share the link on our chat because I have prepared 3 small questions in order to see whether our session has actually will address, I may say, a lot of the goals of my talk. So if you can access this barcode through either the barcode or the link, I want you to answer the first question, if I may, and I'll give you a minute there. So please do let me know if you are having any problems accessing this kind of survey. So I'm starting to see some comments here. So one takeaway from our panelist discussion, if you may.
Pauline, we need to
Yes.
add some people are requesting a password for the
No,
Mentimeter.
there's no password required.
Okay.
430888079, I think, maybe.
Can you repeat it, please, so I can add
It's
it
on
to
the
the
screen.
chat?
It's on the screen.
430888079.
Okay.
If you scan it with the QR code, you don't need a password.
Okay, so if you could say one takeaway from our panel discussion today that you personally received today.
So
One
not
takeaway.
one word, one
No,
takeaway.
one takeaway.
Anna, I wrote my name.
That's fine. And actually, this is the cloud, so it's going to compile the images, the words that would be the most impactful for almost everyone. That's why we use this platform. So I'll give everyone. So 7 responded out of 22, and I guess not everyone has accessed yet this survey. Let's say resilience. Yes. Choose well. Very good point. Opportunities. Yes. Okay. Anything else? Growth, networking, definitely. That was one of our goals actually for today. So I'm going to give you guys another 2 minutes to get more interactive. The questions are going to become more difficult. I actually am going to, warn you there. So opportunities, yes, this is a great place for opportunities because again, grants are opportunities for many SMEs, not only to get financing, but as we said, to actually learn and grow. Very good. There we go. Opportunities, growth, partnerships. Wonderful. One more minute. Guidance, definitely. Sustainability is still there. Again, as you could see, opportunity, partnership, and growth are the biggest three takeaways that we have today. But in addition, we have resilience, we have choice, we have strategy. So hopefully we will see how we can address these as well. Let me move to the second question, if I may. I have 20 out of 30 respondents. This is good for us. Still, the three tops are there. So let me go to the second question. Now you're going to be directed to answering that. What does it take to find a good funding opportunity, you think? So yes, our panelists did talk about this, but I also want you to try to think about what does it take. Applying, definitely. If you don't apply, you're not going to have access. Nowhere to search, definitely. Solid numbers, very true, because if you don't have your numbers sorted out, you're not going to be able to meet some of the requirements that the funding agency will be. When in doubt, ask, definitely. Patience, actually, and this is very important that someone said this, grant funding is not a one-time deal. You're going to have to try and try again, as you will see in a little bit. Okay, choosing the right program. Be honest in your answers, because if you don't do, then you're not, if you get funding the first time, you're not going to be able to sustain that funding. Very true. Viability and sustainability, yes, very true as well. Finding the proper grant, having the right contact, maybe the right expert at arm's length, which is why this kick on Agri-Food is there to actually support those of you who do not have enough support. Hopefully we can assist you there. What else? Matchmaking, definitely. You need to you need to find the right grant and apply for it. If you're not a good match, your time is going to be wasted applying. Great. I think I'm going to wait for one more minute until I get to 20, and then I'll move forward. Networking is important, but I don't believe that it is the only criteria or one of the main criteria. It might help you get access to the grant in terms of funding opportunities. I do not believe that it will actually get you funded. So to get funded, you need to do more. All right. Wonderful. I didn't see anyone saying a good proposal in here or a good idea. Hopefully, we're gonna get you we're gonna get the point that there you go, a great idea. Wonderful. So let me move to the last question. What is, in your idea or in your opinion, the most important criteria for funding that your SME can or cannot meet? Let's put it that way. In your opinion, what do you think is the most important criteria for funding that you got out of our panelists today? And this is one word, hopefully. Well, a few words. Yes, win-win, true. Financials in orders, yes. I think registration is a good one too, because we did have a lot of companies a lot of granting agencies that required registration, even though it's not on there. Yeah, registration, there we go. Helping the community, yes. Impact, right? Relevance, true. So let's take another minute here. Maybe we wait until we get to 20 as our previous questions. Yes, solution is very important, because if our idea can provide a solution, that would be a very good opportunity for funding. Mission alignment with the granting agency, very true. Good sales, yes and no, I would say. Impact, that's very true. Registration, yes. Helping community or impact, that I think goes under the same criteria. Social innovation. I think your answers are excellent, and they fit really beautifully with what we're going to discuss today. So let me go ahead without further ado, move to the presentation. Yes, Valerie, go ahead.
Sorry, can I since this is done, can we take a group picture with all the panelists just
Sure.
in case
Yes,
someone
that
is
would be a
gonna
great
leave?
time.
Yeah.
That would be a great time
Okay.
for this.
هيك
So let me
قبل ما
minimize my
تبلشي
screen. Stop sharing. Yes, I'll stop my sharing. This way you guys could do this and actually could take a group picture. Yeah.
with you, us guys.
Yeah, of course. I'm not
Okay.
shared anymore. Okay,
Please, if
let's
you
do
can
this.
all open your cameras and Pauline, stop sharing.
I did stop sharing. I'm not sharing anymore.
Well, I can still see it.
Oh. Yeah. Wait. Yes. Stop share. Yes, there we go. All right. Turn our videos, maybe.
Yes. Noor. Yeah, can we see like everyone on the screen? Yeah, like this. We're still missing Marlene. I'll call her. Okay. I'll take a screenshot. There you are. Okay guys, كيف بدكم تطلعوا ثبتوا ما تتحركوا. I'm gonna do screen answers. All right. 3 لا لحظة. ما تضبط. All right. So 3, 2, 1. Thank you. بس ما تفلوا خليكم بس انه just in case سكرتوا او حاجة. Okay, back to you, Pauline. We are listening. But you have to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so thank you for all your input, everyone. I think we are in line with what our panelists have said, and hopefully I will be able to address many of your concerns. So what I would suggest that every SME would start with to get successful in its financing is do sort of like a self-assessment phase, categorize yourself, know exactly where you fall, because if a grant is addressing food processors that are small, a large food processor cannot access this grant. So this will save you a lot of time. So what I would say is use any business stage assessment that you could do. But this is sort of what I was able to put together. If you are a startup farmer or a micro enterprise, maybe go for micro grants and financing because they would require less registration, less due process, less requirement. If you are a smooth food processor, now you can access larger grant, etc. If you are a growing SME, maybe EBRD with their advisory donor grant, etc. So what I would recommend you do as a first stage, know where you are, know where you fall, so that you can actually, once you get a summary of the grants that are available, develop sort of like a table that should be simple enough to have what agency has a call out. What are the requirements for these agencies? Do you meet those requirements? Do you not? What is the deadline? And what are the criteria? And you could put 2 my status columns on here. I mean, this is not sort of universal, but know whether you can meet the requirements, whether you can meet whether you fit the requirements, and whether you meet the criteria, so that you know whether to address this grant or not. Now, keep in mind that if you don't meet the criteria today and you are a growing SME, maybe tomorrow you would have a better fit at said opportunity. So if you do develop such a table, save it. Keep growing it, because some opportunities, as we heard from our panelists, are recurrent. And so you could actually, if you don't get access to them today, maybe get access to them next year or the following year. Because funding is not something that you do today. It's a roadmap that you need to travel over and over again. So the first thing is, the challenge for funding is finding the money. But beyond finding the money and finding the opportunity, you need to match the right funding to the right business need or idea or opportunity. So funding, in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of many of our panelists, it's a pipeline. It is not a single event. So if you apply today and you see that you're not successful, maybe you need to improve your business, apply again tomorrow, maybe change something in your application, change something in your business model, and then you can apply tomorrow. So the question is not and should not be, where can I get a loan? Rather, it should be what combination of grants, of technical assistance, of partnership, of investment will help me grow. So if I don't meet my grant requirements today, those could become my grant requirements tomorrow, or I could actually grow with these partnerships, with these assistance, etc. So my take-home message out of that, and I think our panelists really did emphasize on that, the smartest SMEs do not only look for one source of money or one opportunity, they build their financing in a stack-like manner. They apply for a grant, they get technical assistance if they can, they go cost sharing, they also go for soft loans, they try to get investment capital, so they grow along with the potential, as I said earlier, growing with the growing of your SME so that you can get access to more financing as you go along. So with that, I should say, how do you write a successful grant smart? So the first thing is, and I should tell you, let AI do the heavy lifting. So what I did for you, and I'm gonna get back to the slide in a minute, is I went to two AI agents and just briefly put the same question for both of them, asking. Let me just get out here. Okay, so I asked both of our agents, whoops. The first one is on ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT, and by the way, most AI agents, and this is something that you have to learn, love role playing, and they will answer you better when you do role playing. So in your prompt for these AI agents, please try to make them do role play so that you can get the best answer. So I told them, imagine you are an executive of an SME in Agrifood operating in Lebanon. Summarize the upcoming funding opportunities for Lebanon for the upcoming year with their deadline. Simple enough. I asked two agents, I asked ChatGPT, and I then asked Perplexity AI. Now, what I got out of Perplexity AI, and this is why I would recommend you do this exercise with more than one AI tool. Most of the opportunities I got, because this is this year still, were actually expired. So you can actually be more, I should say, specific in your prompt and tell the AI agent to give you none expired grant application or open AI applications. But then ChatGPT actually did give me opportunities that are still open with their funding size, their target beneficiary, etc. But it also did summarize them for me because I did ask it to summarize them for me. So this is something that you could have AI do, but once you have AI do this heavy lifting for you, the first thing we would propose is ChatGPT could do a good draft, Perplexity could summarize research donor and their similar project, Deep learning could translate Arabic, English, and French, and Grammarly could improve your proposal. So these are just a few of those agents. And by the way, just sort of like an inside story, you can ask the actual AI agent to tell you which AI agent is best at what specific activity you want to do. So once you have identified what grants are there, what grants are open, the first thing you need to do is you need to actually match. You need to find the donor guidelines, and you can upload those to the specific AI and ask AI to summarize the eligibility. Then please go ahead and read those criteria. Ask AI to identify the evaluation criteria that you will need to focus on and generate a first draft. But then you need to upload your company's data and customize them with AI. So AI can reduce grant writing time, but, and this is a big but, and I'll show you an example in a little bit, you need to learn to write the proper prompts, as I told you, and that would be role playing, but that would also be specificity, etc. So use the AI agent as an evaluator as well later after you write the proposal, or as a representative from either your company or the grant agency. But be very careful. Your information, if you upload it, will become public. There are some AI agent that will allow you to go incognito mode so that you will not save your information on there. So if you are not very knowledgeable in AI, seek the help of someone who could help you not put your information openly on the web and actually maybe be at the potential for being hacked or anything. So please be very careful when you share either priority information or very important information. Okay, so please be very careful there. Yes, we are promoting that AI will help you and will simplify the writing for you, but please be very careful there. So to show you an example of what I did, again using my two agents, and I did do my exercise ahead of time. I could share the output with you just in case you can make things easy. So you could see it summarized all the opportunities for me. And it even summarized what I would do as a Lebanese agri-food SME is, right? So join good cluster for networking, prepare a standard grant package, etc. But then what it actually did, I did ask it, I gave it an example. I am working, so I tried to describe my company and I took a packaging, za'atar and dry herbs because I think this is possibly a good business model for Lebanese SMEs and would like to expand into new markets. Which opportunities out of these that you just described best fits my business? Now, here's the thing. If you describe the size of your business, if you have identified exactly where you fall, the answer might actually be a bit better. So this will save you on reading maybe 10 requirements criteria to reading only a few. I did again the same exercise on perplexity. And Perplexity did sort of give me the summaries as well. And it ranked the opportunities by best fit, good fit, and conditional fit for me. So again, looking at more than one agent might actually help you understand what's going on. But again, as I said, be very careful taking that information at face value, always validate. Okay, so it even told you, so this is, my company, and that was my question about the company. And so it tried to sort of give me their thought process, whereas ChatGPT just automatically told me, my ranking for your business is first, this one, then this one, then this one. And then it went through all of them and it told me sort of the markets I should maybe address and how I should grow my business and towards which direction. Okay. So then I kind of went to pick the best it did tell me and summarize the deadlines and the requirements very briefly. I did the same with Perplexity, but this time I asked it in the best fit opportunity, summarize the deadline and tell me exactly. But as you could see, it didn't even recognize that the deadline has passed. So it didn't even care that the deadline has passed. So please be careful as well when you do this exercise. Last but not least, what I did for interacting with these chat AI agents, and I told them, okay, write a 250-word proposal for upscaling my packaging equipment for sumac, let's say, a product that could potentially get transit. Now, the more description you give AI, the better it will be able to write the grant. What I would recommend, and again, I did this exercise very roughly, I would recommend you put bullet points, more description of your project, and ask AI to help you write or help you refine your writing. I did the same in Perplexity, and as you could see, Perplexity did give me a more nice proposal, a more refined proposal, as opposite to ChatGPT that actually just gave me a product summary, and it allowed me to interact with it to actually improve on specifically what I did. I did tell both agents that sumac is susceptible to oxidative degradation. I did tell it could get rancid, and it did elaborate there. So it did try to find the best idea. But again, we have our own ideas, and the more you put in there, the easiest that would be for a more coherent proposal to be returned. Now, one thing that you have to remember is the last question that I asked is because when you want to write, you need to be able to sort of know what pieces of the grant you need to address. So I did ask ChatGPT to summarize the sections of the applications and the limits in each application so that I could easily get an idea before reading the call for proposal on how exactly I could actually sort of address some of these. ChatGPT did give me sort of like a bullet, which makes it a bit easier, but each one of them was addressing a different application, a different requirement, but in all of them, as you can see, the documents that would be required at the end, mandatory attachments, they actually would ask you to prepare those. And so as a result, maybe that would be an easy way to get prepared for an application. It did tell you if there were any geographical focus, for example, any selection limit, etc. And Perplexity propose for you a few follow-up questions, a few things that you should focus on. So again, you could interact with these agents. So I will want to stop for a minute to see if anyone has any questions before I move further. Any questions, Valerie, that we have? Go ahead.
I'm going to ask a question on behalf of some people. So when you're doing this, you should always, give it the regional context, no?
Exactly.
Or not necessarily.
Yes.
How do we do that?
So here's the thing, the AI agent will go seek the internet for relevant information. So if the application is on there or the call for application is available, it will be able to extract that info. But if you know you are in a region and you only want to work in that region, put it. So the more specific you are in your prompt, the better answers you're going to get and the more focus you're going to get out of the search that the AI agent is doing. Instead of you searching, and we used to do a Google search, right? Use AI as a Google search, but to summarize, so to do a more in-depth dig into what is available to you. So the more details you give it, the more information that you put out, the better or the more refined your search or your return will be, if that makes any sense.
Akid, it's important to note. Someone is also asking Rita Maria Shakar. Actually, my business plan is ready. Financial projections, CapEx, OpEx, financial pitch. As a first step prior to looking for funding, can we get mentorship support?
I think the kick goal, our kick goal was to actually do just that. So if you could reach out to the Agri-Food kick through Berytech, or we could put contact info at the end. Reach out to either Valerie, Marinin, or myself, and we could direct you to the right person to actually maybe seek more help. Okay, so my assessment of a winning formula when I apply for a grant is, don't think about application today. Think strategically about where do you want to get. Okay, so in order to actually be able to get a grant from, let's say, and Jad, I'll take you as an example, EBRD. EBRD is a bank. They want impact. So check what exactly are the terms they use. Example I wrote when you were talking, Jad, for example, financial sustainability. I saw in your talk, let's say, not startup, but champions, small businesses, maybe green transition, youth-led. So find these keywords and make sure to match what your business wants to do with these goals. So figure out the goal of the donor, emphasize those goals in the grant. So there is no one grant fits all. Every grant, just like your CV, I should say, every grant needs to be customized to the donor. So rework any grant you have to directly address the interest of the granting agencies, but also what they're asking for. So, and what you could do at the end after writing your grant, you could ask the AI agent to validate your grant with a specific donor. Now, mind you, you will have put your grant publicly. So please find an agent that will allow you to work incognito, or that will not upload your information to the web. Claude, for example, is very good in not sharing and saving your information and not learning from them. Because ChatGPT and Deep Learn, for example, any question you ask from them, they will use it to grow their database and actually grow with it. Okay, so possibly ask the AI agent to work as an evaluator, again, role playing, assess your application incognito again, so that it doesn't save your application, maybe help rewrite your grant, your application, maybe focus your application to answer better the goals of the funding agencies. Or maybe to find caveats or gaps in your application. Like, for example, earlier we said your size, maybe the incompleteness of your application, and maybe the eligibility, etc. If you meet the target area or not, etc. So find what the funder wants or asks and match them. And when you do this, a lot of times, if you have all the requirements and you meet the criteria for application, of course, we are having large number of applications to each call, but at least you would have better opportunities to be matched, to get funded, hopefully at that time. So your funding toolkits, if you want, is to find those opportunities. Again, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and as I told you, don't use just one. And these are just some examples. Analyze the guidelines using, again, any agent you could think about. Build budgets with Excel AI, create work plans, design concept notes. Again, all of these are very important as part of the funding, if I should say, roadmap. So work on each one separately and refine it and improve your writing so that you could actually maybe improve your chances of getting funded. Okay, and of course you have translating agents as well. This is by no means an exhaustive list. This is an example of a list. You can even ask an AI agent to actually give you a more exhaustive list. But please, if I have to recommend anything, I would want to recommend that you use more than one agent to address every single one of your questions, so that you, as a grantor or as a writer, could put these things together and get to where your grant really represents you and your company, so that you can get the best chances at being funded. You can use AI to convert your activities into impact. As you saw, even in our cloud exercise, impact was some of the biggest biggest ask from the granting agency, I should say. So you can put your application and ask, for example, ChatGPT, what SDGs does my project support? And make sure that this is emphasized in your writing. What climate benefits does my project sort of create? If you don't know and you haven't assessed that, that would be great for you to be able to do that. Ask them for KPIs that you could measure if you don't know how to do that. Your social impact. So find the needs. Your solution may be there, but it's not in the language that the funder wants as impact. And then show your evidence. So transform your activities into solutions and impacts, and then show the evidence that you could do. And if you do that, and you can be effective in using or in, let's say, modeling those AI agents to refining your application, I believe this will improve your chances of getting funded. I'm not promising that you'll get funded, but you need to focus your message so that if your grant applications are not well written, you need to do that. But many times, as many of our panelists said, it's not only about the written grant. The successful grant need to have an understanding of the donor and matching. The structure of the proposal needs to be there. The impact needs to be shown, and you need to be able to show that you have a measurable impact of your grant and present your story successfully, professionally. So you need to write your grant in a smart way. Use your AI to focus your message rather than have AI write your grant for you. That's why I'm proposing combine multiple AIs so that your idea becomes more refined and you can actually have a holistic grant application writing. Combine your business as a strong business, the storytelling, and then write the grant that would win you the funding. And I hope that this will actually help you in refining your applications. And before you submit, that's just one sort of like a suggestion. Ask AI to review if your proposal is aligned with the donor priorities. If not, review. Are my objectives measurable? If not, again, refine your applications. Are your indicators realistic? If your size is small and you're promising to reach all the goals, maybe that's not something that you should be doing. Is the language clear and concise? Did I explain the impact? Probably. These are questions that you can separately ask AI, but please be careful as well. Don't ask too many questions at once from AI, because it could actually get lost in the translation of your question. So one question at a time, targeted questions and asks out of AI so that you can actually take the bottom line and incorporate that into your proposal. And with that, I'll be happy to entertain any questions. We have about 10 minutes for Q&A. And while we're taking those questions, these are my contacts. And while we are taking these questions, first, I would like to hear from our panelists on their thoughts. And second, please complete the feedback of our session so that we can actually maybe design more targeted sessions next time. So our panelists, and then maybe I'll leave this out so that we could get feedback. Yes, Natasha.
Thank you. It's very interesting, the presentation. So it's a good idea to, to mix all these AI tools to have, a proper grant application. I think you should do another one for the evaluators to evaluate the proposal. It makes good sense on the AI side. So it facilitates our work because,
it could get risky though. It could get risky.
So next time we would be very interested to do this.
That'd be awesome.
But I think it's very valid what you have said, and it's a good and easy way, يعني for those who know AI and are familiar with these tools to, to adopt these for the applications. Thank you.
Well, if you don't know AI, and this is something that I emphasized, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't know how to talk to AI, you might not get the right answer. So seek help to learn at least a little bit. That's why I tried to give a little bit of insight. AI can talk to you in Arabic too, by the way. So that might be something that you use to your advantage as well, because you might be able to interact with them that way as well. So find the best way to interact with those agents so that you can get the most out of them. Don't just use them for the purpose of using them, I should say. Thank you, Natasha. Other panelists? Or questions from the audience?
Yes, we have a question. So I think also this will concern several panelists as well, and you. Ziad, the Breeze Spring, is asking, many small farmers are working hard and creating value, but cannot access grants because they are not registered companies. How can we bridge this gap and support them in growing towards formalization rather than excluding them from the start? So first of all, they should connect with Dr. Ramila is.
If I may answer a little bit, I think that the Ministry of Agriculture, and this is my knowledge at least, and some of you could add to my answer. I think the ministry has been in the past few months before the war has been trying to register as many companies as possible, and they had local offices, please correct me if I'm wrong, that were trying to register as many agriculture and agri-food companies as possible. But again, I don't know the status of what happened there. So please reach out to the Ministry of Agriculture first, or Ministry of Finance, and then maybe reach out to Dr. Lace.
Yeah, I don't think he should reach out to the ministry. No one's going to answer at this point, but maybe he can reach out to us. He can ask
also Agri-Food. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely,
please,
definitely.
And if someone here wants to answer that, maybe Marlene, or as working with MSMEs. Dr. Lais left, but we will send your message to him if you want to share your contact.
I'm gonna leave my screen up just because I have the feedback logo, but otherwise please feel free to
if you want to remove it, I put the feedback link in the chat box.
Okay, wonderful. Let me stop sharing then.
Okay, ناتاشا تفضلي.
بتخيل زياد هلا يمكن دكتور بولين عم تحكي عن الفارم ريجستري، لانه وزاره الزراعه عم تطلب من كل فارمر يتسجل بالريجستري. So قدروا they are trying to get all the donors to work with the farmers through this registry. So نحن بلشنا مع الفارمرز تبعنا والبنفيشريز، بس مش كلهم قدروا يسجلوا، وبعدين اجت الحرب وهيك. So I don't know how many were they successfully, because they need to go to the regional office تبع الوزارة ويقعدوا مع whoever is going to enter the data and بيطلبوا منهم وراء عن الأرض وهيك. So I think it's worth it يعني if he can reach out to any of the extension يعني مكاتب الوزارة بالمناطق بيقدر يعمل هيدا الشيء. هلا en plus في كتير donors they are it depends who is the donor and what is the purpose of the donation. في ناس بس عم بيطلبوا مثل ما قلت لكم مش ضروري يكونوا مسجلين officially. في ناس عم بيطلبوا بس ورقة من البلدية أو ورقة من المختار أو official document بيقدر to prove sustainability from a local entity. So it's not always the case إنه يكون registration. So he has to look for these grants. I think it will be much easier for him. Thank you.
بس انه توجه الدونرز كلهم سوا انه يشجعوا
Exactly.
التسجيل لحتى يصير عن جد كله فورمال بلبنان which is a very good strategy يعني.
بس بركي meanwhile هيدا اللي بيقدر يعمله تكين سجل الأوراق
Yes. اوقات ورقة مختار كمان عم تزبط انه
Exactly.
يأكد انه he owns these lands يعني.
Exactly.
هيك صار معنا وقتها كمان BSL كمان.
I would like to ask a question here to conclude. Maybe it's like a weird question, but do you ever do exceptions؟ يعني مثلا لنقول في project كتير عجبتنا الفكرة وهيك بس ما عنده الأوراق اللازمة كلها، يمكن عنده قسم منها هيك، في exceptions ولا لا؟
based on the donor يعني هو الدونر اوقات بيفرض عليك يعني هلا انه في اشياء في كرايتيريا you have to abide by يعني ما بتقدري اذا بده اياهم مسجلين ما فيكي بدك اياهم مسجلين يعني. بس بالمايكرو بزنسز انه عم بيكون في انه مش ضروري يكونوا مسجلين، بينما اذا كانوا سمول اند ميديوم عم بيكون اجمالا الكرايتيريا انه يكون مسجل البزنس.
Yes. هن I think ال SMEs كلهم يلي عم بيقدموا عم بيكونوا مسجلين usually هن بركي المايكرو أكتر أو
لا
الفارمرز.
في منهم لا في منهم ما عم بيكون. نحن كان عندنا بروجي هلا وي اندد ليتلي يعني مع GIZ انه كان ما كان في كرايتيريا انه يكونوا مش مسجلين يعني. بس نحن جبنا حدا وكمان عمل لهم سيشن انه قديش مهم انه يسجلوا وقديش يعني شو البنفيتس لهم انهم يسجلوا، وشجعناهم على هيدا الشيء وكتار سجلوا من بعدها.
Yes, I think you are doing a great job at the preparation,
Yes,
capacity building وهيك تيصيروا قادرين ياخدوا اللون. So this is half of the job.
exactly.
أنا I
Great.
think it's a good idea كمان ماريلين لأنه هلا يمكن the biggest program is GATE now it's coming. I don't know about the other programs, but I think with the كفالات loan, if they want to apply for a loan, I think they will have to have proper document, a legal document.
What is the biggest project?
No, the GATE one, the World Bank from
Yes.
CDR.
Great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna summarize everything and we're gonna send a recording كمان ال feedback survey link to everyone who participated and to the panelists as well. We will be sharing questions we receive with the relevant panelists, or in general, if it's not directed to someone specific, we will send it to all of you. We are right on time, 7:59. So I think unless anyone has more questions, thank you. Really, I feel this webinar reached its goals basically. وهي mostly to show you your faces ويسمعوا صوتكم ويسمعوا منكم directly، وهيدا شي كتير بشجع. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you Berytech and Lebanon Innovate for this platform, for facilitating this activity. And we look forward to having you with us on other events إذا حسيتوا حالكم استفدتوا وحبيتوا الجو. So thank you also to my wonderful colleagues, Marilyn and Pauline.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you to all the participants that stayed with us from the beginning. We understand some people had to leave, but being here really showed the importance of this sector as a whole and of this specific topic. So with that, I want to wish you a good night and say thank you again and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Bye.
يعطيكم ألف عافية وإن شاء الله دايما بالتوفيق.
Merci لألك كمان. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, how do I turn it on? كيف بسكر؟